Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chong from Hunters International, and we have our trainer here with us today. Wai Ling, she just conducted this training session in collaboration with TalentCorp and also Hunters Search, talking about understanding employer selection criteria. I'd like to just go through a short intro about Wai Ling a little bit first before we make her answer all the Q&A questions that was unanswered during our session earlier. Okay, Wai Ling is a consultant and a trainer, and she is HRDF certified. Her specialization is a lot to do with neuro-linguistic programming. Okay, and one secret that I would like to share with you, which makes it not a secret anymore, she's a hypnotist. Okay, so be very, very careful when you talk to her because she might be able to hypnotize you. Okay, over to you, Wai Ling. I'm going to ask the first question, if you don't mind.
Thank you, May.
My pleasure. The first question that from the participants is, will recruiters still process overqualified candidates for positions they applied to?
We will. Basically, for us, especially like I said earlier, if you attended the training, I am still actually working for an organization for people who have taken a career break and want to return to the workforce. And if you want to have a transition, role transition, of course, we will look at your previous qualification and whether your competency will suit the role that you are actually applying for. So even if you are overqualified, for example, before you stop working, you were a senior manager, for example. But since you have a young family to take care of, you don't want so many responsibilities. And say, for example, you just want to go back to becoming a senior executive, for example, not a problem at all. So as long as you can actually perform in that duty and it's your passion to continue to work, we will definitely process those applications.
That is a very, very good answer. Thanks, Wai Ling.
No
okay,
problem.
This is another question, right? Do we need to put our photos on our resume?
In Malaysia, unfortunately, this is the trend. If we are talking about applying, to overseas, say for example, if you are looking at migrating, right, to Australia or to any other Western country, Europe or UK or US, you don't need photos in your resume. But in Malaysia, all the recruiters are very, used to having photos in the resume. Therefore, yes, you will have to have your photo in the resume.
Any tips about the type of profile pictures that I should actually put on their resume?
Oh, yes.
Because I noted that sometimes they actually take pictures of them in the car, okay,
yeah,
or
on a
party,
selfie.
and then
Yes.
Yeah, the selfie, right? And then they just put it into their resume. That might not give a very, very professional, impression.
Exactly. So your photo speaks 1,000 words. So and that is actually the few seconds that you have to make your first impression with the recruiter. So best is actually having a professional passport photo. Otherwise, my other tips will be, since we are doing a lot of virtual meeting and things like that, we can actually just take a photo, a snapshot, using your virtual application as well. So you have a clear black background at the back. If you want to, you can just put on a blazer, right? Have some makeup on, because actually how we present ourselves is the amount of respect we have for ourselves. So basically, if you are saying, you're sitting at home, you just want to take a photo, without, makeup and things like that. So how would people view you? So that is important, yeah? So have, a nice photo.
Thank you so much. Right. The next question is, what are the best job hunting platforms?
Well, I wouldn't say there is one best job hunting platform for every role. So depending on different roles that you are applying for, there are specific platforms that you can go to where they prefer. Say, for example, things which are relating to like programming. I think there's something called a Geek Slide or something like that, right? So of course, if you're looking at general positions, like admin or normal administrative related job, a lot of it is like in job street. So of course, recruiters, headhunters, they have their own job platform as well. So you can visit those. And otherwise, there are also Malaysian launch free job portal for employers to use, My Future Jobs. So you can actually apply, put your resume there as well to get information about the jobs availability.
Basically, the more platform that actually they submit the application, they will actually increase their chances of getting a job.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. Then this question is actually quite similar with the first question, right? If you are in a manager role for the past 10 years and now we are applying for an executive level position or a more junior position, as a recruiter, would you consider my application?
Yes, of course. Like I say, if you are in a way do not want to have so many responsibilities because you are returning, to work after having a small family, right? Of course, our employer will appreciate that, in fact, because they know that you don't want such a big role. You just want to, still perform in a job, right? Contribute to the society, but you just don't want that, previous title that you have. That's fine.
So it's very important for the candidate to be actually absolutely transparent with the recruiter, and also to explain to them why am I applying for a more junior position.
That's correct. And in fact, a lot of companies will appreciate that fact, that they know that, okay, this is my capacity at the moment, right? And I want to focus maybe 50% at work and 50% in my family. So if I get promoted the next 2 years or 3 years in the company when my family is, my kids are growing bigger, that's fine. That's completely fine. But, as when you, start to go back in the workforce, the transparency is important.
The next question is a very, very interesting question. How do you portray confidence in an interview without sounding arrogant?
Okay, so it's a very slight line there, right? Being, overconfident and arrogance, right?
Yes.
So basically, what I can say is different personality portrays confidence very differently. So, I can say that I'm a very confident person, but I know for sure that I'm not arrogant. Right. How do I know that? That's because, people don't mind talking to me. People, will answer me, questions when I post a question. Because if I were arrogant, then people would want to talk to me. Is that right? So what you can do is also, keep a check on yourself, right? Record yourself in front of, a screen, right? And see how you actually talk to the screen. Do you like listening to yourself or not? And then you can also try and get some feedback from people you trust who can give you, really, really constructive feedback. Even if you appear arrogant, they will be able to tell you that. So get feedback from people like that, then you can improve from there if you need to.
I will try that out. I will definitely try that out. Okay. As a recruiter, right, you'll be receiving so many resumes. The next question is that how do I make sure that my resume stands out?
Basically answering to the job description, the job requirement, and at least have the qualification that is required. So I do a lot of interview with my students, with graduates. So my criteria to hire, for example, management trainee is with a minimum CGPA of 3.5. So when I receive anything less than 3.5, I basically will trash it, right? And the other thing is, what I will definitely reject is on the job subject itself, right? My company is XYZ, but the application is to ABC, right? I really dislike that because that also shows how much you care when you actually send an email to the recruiter. So try not to get eliminated, and to get your, sort of brownie points higher is basically to answer to the job description. So for example, if you're asking for, a finance degree, for example, but you are only having a finance diploma, then don't bother, right? Because we won't actually look at it. Like I say, we only have 3 to 6 seconds, right? First glance at the resume. What we look at is the specific needs that we need for the company. So if we don't even qualify, check those boxes, we will just put it aside.
Wow, 3.5, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
For intern, for management trainees, yeah.
Okay. The next question is actually quite relevant to the previous question, right? But I wanted to just ask you, besides the information, besides the content of the resume, does the look and feel of the resume makes a difference?
I would say it depends on people. I have a lot of friends who work in HR as well, and a lot of us have got different personality. So for me, because of my experience, I wouldn't say it's stereotype, but because of the experience, looking at the resume, reading the first maybe 2 or 3 lines, basically you know where you're getting into for the resume. But a lot of people, they don't really like reading, but because they are doing this job, they have to read. So the one glance at the resume, whether it's appetizing or not, that will actually conclude the fate of the applicant. Yeah. So make sure at least the formatting is okay. There are no grammatical error, spelling error free, right? Your contact details must be clear and concise so that we are able to see contact you, right? So these are at least the things that you can do for yourself to get your resume through the recruiters. Yeah.
Okay. The next question is quite interesting too. 1-page summarized resume or the full disclosure resume?
Well, we do have a difference between actually a CV and a resume. Resume is actually a shorter version, whereas a CV is actually a very detailed version of what you have done in the past. So in Malaysia, I think most recruiters will prefer resume, right? In most positions, unless you are probably applying for a technical position where they really need to know, the A to Z of what you have done, then a CV is important. So for CV, you can go many pages. For a resume, we recommend 3 pages or less. So anything that you can condense it. And remember, in the resume, we don't list out all our job tasks, okay?
Right.
We list down our accomplishment, right? And what we have done, like for example, the biggest achievement, for example, winning an award, for example, saving how much costs, for example, improve the turnover rate, for example. So all these are good example accomplishment that you can put in your resume for each job role, yeah? Not all your job tasks. That's why we can actually condense the resume into 2 to 3 pages.
And most importantly, right, just don't copy and paste from your JD
That's
to your
correct.
resume, right?
Yes.
Because the way it's being written is so different, and then
That's right.
just one glance you already know already.
Yes.
Last but not the least question is that in a virtual interview, if the interviewer didn't switch on their video, okay, what is your recommendation? Would you recommend the candidate to keep their video on or just switch off their video?
To me, I would prefer talking to a person than a blank screen.
A blank screen, right?
So, exactly. So it's just common courtesy to switch on your video. But however, some recruiters switch it off is because switching off our video actually saves bandwidth. So at certain point of time, we know that data bandwidth is out of our control. So if we are able to communicate clearer with this little bit of help of the bandwidth, then maybe we can actually tell the recruiter, I'm going to switch off my video for a little while while I answer your questions so that our communication become clearer. But however, if the recruiter actually prefer to have their video switch off without any reason, you will still on your end respect the recruiter to switch on your video. Okay?
Very sound advice indeed. Right.
Thank you.
I would like to end this session with a story, if you don't mind. I would like to end this session with a story, right? So there has been someone that has lost her job through unfair dismissal. Okay, and she has been trying to apply for the job for the past 7 months. Okay, and she has actually attended some interviews, but until now she's not able to secure a job yet. Do you have any advice for my friend?
Right. So the thing is, the unfair dismissal, happened, right? So let it pass you, put it past you, and move on. Because if you hold this grudge in you, it will show in your aura, right? In your, facial expression, in your body language, it will also put you down, right? If the question didn't come up during, the interview session, that's fine. But even if it comes up, right? If you not need to talk about it, please do not badmouth the employer, right? Whatever happened, right? It may be for a cause, it may be for a reason. We learn from it, we move on. So never, never, never badmouth your previous employer.
I will try. Thank you very much, Wai Ling. Thank you very much for answering the balance of the Q&A questions.